You went in 1942, yes?
Yeah. Train by the Kettelwagen.
How many people in a wagon?
Oh, they put it in like the mostly trouble was what they done it. They tell us to sit the legs like this, and other person in. So let's see 10, 15 people around, and another 10, 15, and the legs keep like this, and another, this was the worst thing. You couldn't move. So have a third fall before the arrival was dead.
How many days were you traveling in the train?
No, this not day, this was 3-4 hours.
And how many people in a cattle car?
In a wagon,
Yeah.
and they put it in maybe over 100 people.
And how big was the cattle car?
There's different kind.
How
The
big?
smaller one, bigger one. You couldn't move.
You couldn't breathe?
It was hard to breathe either. There was up maybe a small piece open, not a window, was a small, with wire, because people would try, they want to jump out.
Could you go to the bathroom?
No bathroom.
Could you eat anything?
When we arrived, they start us right away to chase.
What did they
For
do
selection.
What did they do when you arrived?
When we arrived, they say we're going to shave and cut the hair, and we getting to eat, we getting to drink, not to worry, everything all right.
Who told you that?
Some is the one from the SS people, and there was already special old couples. They was wearing already striped jackets, I think.
Who were the couple?
Only you can live on is a
A belt.
a belt you can live on. So everything you have to take off, because you get shaved, you get shower, you get the thing, and when you be finished, you coming back and you take your clothes. In the barrack where we arrived, there was red clinkers. You know red clinkers?
No.
The red what the building homes.
Bricks?
Bricks, red bricks, small one.
Uh-huh.
And the bricks was loose on the floor in sand. You know why? Because they know everyone put out, like me. I had gold pieces, have some a little bit jewelry. I took 2 red bricks and made my initial and thing. When I come back to get the clothes, then I will have it. They were smarter thing. They know that everybody do the same thing. Now we come back to the same barrack.
So you had at least 100 people in the cattle car.
Yeah.
Half of the people died on the way from overcrowding.
Not half, I can say 1/3 for sure.
1/3 for sure.
Yeah.
And they opened up the cattle car and you immediately went to selection.
No, they take off
To take off the clothes.
Places to take us the clothes and leave everything. Don't worry, you come back, you get everything back.
And they were smart. They had a special place where they had a walkway with bricks and sand, and they knew everyone would bury their jewelry.
The whole floor was bricks, loose, and sand.
And everybody buried their valuables.
And over there, they take us to top of the clothes, and they told make a mark which brick you had. Then in an hour or 2 hours, you come back, you get back to your clothes, and then we send you back to a barrack where you get eat and drink and everything.
And what did you have with you then? What did you bring to Auschwitz?
What I brought to the Auschwitz, I brought some 5 $20 gold pieces, and then it was 3 gold English pound with the horses, 2 horses.
English pounds.
English pound, but it was 5 things. I have the gold pieces, and then I have some American dollar, $10 bills, $5 bills. I have a belt with, you know what?
A money belt.
A money belt I had.
So how much do you think you had with you? A few hundred, a few $1,000 or zlotys?
No, the value, this was a zloty value, maybe 2,000 zlotys. What?
And you buried everything under the bricks?
I was a brick, I made a mark that I come back. Because it was smart, when they come and they take away only the bricks, and the sand went to a machine. They throw out the valuable pieces.
Took you somewhere else.
They put it right away in barracks.
And where did you go? What kind of barracks?
I was barrack 6 in Birkenau.
Birkenau is part of Auschwitz?
Yeah, this Birkenau was out. And I was together with the cousin from Benjamin and a Jewish man from
What was his
Benjamin.
name? Lazarowski?
No, Reiser was a rabbi.
Who was the chazan?
The cousin was Klaxpald.
And you said you shared a bunk with him, you slept with him.
We were sleeping 6 people on a koi. It was three things.
Three beds, 3 tiers,
Yeah,
3 levels. And how many times a day could you go?
How many you needed? But the problem was, sometimes you go, you never come back.
Why?
But the couples and things that they kill you.
Why? Why would they kill you?
For fun. And then the SS was sitting on the first on the old wire. You touch a wire, you kill.
On the gate.
There was high.
How did
high
you know?
voltage.
How did you know that the wires would kill you? Did you see anyone go to the gate and get killed?
Yeah, but beside was signs.
In what language?
German, all languages.
Did you ever see?
Don't touch the thing because this is high voltage.
Did you ever see an inmate touch the gate?
Oh, every morning you come up to see dead people.
How many?
I was a cousin. My wife, my Hanka's a cousin, mine's a cousin. She find out that her father was killed in Auschwitz. She right away went on the.
In Auschwitz, you lived in a barracks. I understand the barracks. You was a horse stable.
Before was a horses that was keeping in this barracks.
How cold was it at nighttime?
There's no heat.
How cold did it get?
It was cold. It was when we were sleeping. It was closing to each other to keep warm.
And you say when you got up every morning, you saw people who ran into the gate to commit suicide.
Not that who was some what they couldn't take it. They went on the ring. Besides, before you reached the wire, you were shot from the guards.
And how about dogs? The tattoo.
When we arrived in,
Point to it.
yeah.
What's your
This
number?
was tattooing a French doctor, a Jewish doctor. He took a few seconds to make it. When it come to the end, because the number is 133, 538. I said, look, it's bleeding. He hit me over the head, but I think he is not a school, he is a concentration camp, he said.
The doctor hit you?
No, it not hit me, he said, because I complained. Why are you doing so hard? Because it's bleeding. He hit me as the head as a
touch.
As a trap. He is not a playground, he is a concentration camp.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Get the tattoo the first day you came?
The first day.
The first day. How long did it take to get the tattoo?
It was a line that was so quick he couldn't turn. One turn, a next one.
After the tattoo, where did you go?
To the barrack right away.
And what, were you given a work assignment?
Yeah, they show you, look, your barrack is number 6. Over there you will sleep, and over there when you get to eat, so you have to eat ready, everything is the barrack.
And what kind of work did you do during the day?
We was wearing stones. Let's say over there this end was laying a ground with stones. We took this and took it to this end. Then when it was finished, an hour later, the same stones, put it back to from where you picked it up.
Were you building anything?
No, to keep us occupied. And then without shoes. And they was cutting the weeds, they was cutting very low. When you walk without shoes, then was
Cut your feet.
the cutting is hard, and they have to run. Then instead to take a shovel or thing, you have to take the jacket what you have, put it here like this, you see, and put it here, the stones, and dump it, and walk it this one, then take it back to be occupied.
How long did you work without shoes?
Oh, we will see shoe after a week they give us shoes. The shoes, this was wood, the bottom, and around the shoes was from old clothes make. So I found a piece of wire and I made me laces from the wire. Was truck and took that thing to the crematorium. On the top of the truck was a Red Cross, and they picked up all from every block, 10 people, 15 people, 5 people.
What did they die from?
But, you can imagine to sit in 100 people, you couldn't stand up, you couldn't move, and you couldn't go to the toilet thing.
But after you arrived, in the first few weeks, people died. What did they die from? Starvation, from cold, from overwork, from sickness? What did they die from?
All kind of sickness was there. The problem was, who you think who died first? The big people who needed to eat a lot and drink a lot, they couldn't make it. Like me, I received a small piece of bread. I had a piece of bread I kept for 2 days. A little with the soup, was enough for me. But the big eaters, they couldn't make it. The hunger killed it.
Was there water to drink?
No.
What did you drink?
Only when you think, only when you get to eat, you get something. The soup was more water than soup. And there was spinach. You know, spinach is raised in sand. You can receive a dish with
Spinach.
With spinach was more sand, and I could eat. Then was Ehrlich Sidney's father. He came to me, sagte, oss ein bisschen Spinat. Sagte, those sand, gave me his sand over. I didn't eat, I gave it to him.
How many times a day did they feed you?
Once a day.
When? In the morning or the night?
In the morning.
And what did they give you every day to eat? You get any bread?
It was a slice dark bread. There was both.
How many grams of bread? They weighed every gram, right? How many grams of bread did they give you?
No, there was a special, every block was a man who was taking care of the food and the bread cutting, because you have to cut every piece, because sometimes the end piece was nothing, and you was so lucky you see the end piece, you cannot complain. You can complain you hit off the head.
How many portions did he have to cut the bread into? How many portions in the block?
There was a block, a concrete block, so the bread was this kind. This bread was baking in camp. It was special baking, special concentration. People would cut settle. They was usually bake the bread.
So
but only they have to cut even.
So you got
they give margarine, they used to give things.
You got margarine every day?
With the bread, yeah. A margarine, to look on it, was looking like margarine.
It looked like margarine.
And then they was picking for group people. A doctor was picking people, took from every block to put, they was still looking good. And when I went down, the first time I went through the selection, the doctor said, no, scheiße. He put, that's to stay black in the bag. And then I said to my friend, was a Landsman Goldberg, Ehrlich Goldstein's partner. So Schulem, if we stay here, we lost. We have to get out from here. Sagt er, wieso geht man aus? Sag ich bin schon durchgefahren. Nee, eben wo ich gekickt. The main thing, I see the doctor was selecting. He was looking only if you stay straight, if you think how you look. He said he was tired. I was black 6, then they went to black 5 to pick up again more, to finish the selection. And he was very tired. The last half an hour, he said, take a piece of paper and mark down the numbers from the last 50 people. You know why they do this? Because the couples, they're making somebody the gold or some pieces to give him. Because he only was working to get out from Birkenau, to go to work somewhere. If not, you went out to the chimney. this cut the hair. There was standing a barber, he said to me, look, you are Muslim, where you going? Over there you have to work 20 hours a day. You are Muslim going to over there to work? You know what thing? I have a solution. I hit you over the head, you die here, and then you land out to the chimney. What I told her, I didn't answer nothing, and I went back, cut the hair, but I didn't have nothing with me.
So you left that day for where? You went from Birkenau to where?
they send us to Breslau.
And how far is Birkenau to Breslau?
From Breslau to Breslau, Breslau was like even from Benjin to, there was 2 hours driving.
And how did you go? By train?
Oh, they sent us by train, yeah.
Better than the last time?
Oh, then we arrived to Breslau, was a different life. They started to give us nice uniforms. They picked us up and was a special, I don't know what we was that to with trucks or everything. They picked us up by train. The group wagon, they picked us up. It was dressed already fine because we was working with Czech, with French, with English, with Polish, and with Germans together. So we have to be dressed fine, be clean. We have good meals over there twice a day.
But they didn't let you mix with the non-Jewish people, did they?
No, it was mixed.
Where did you sleep at when you worked at Krupp?
Krupp, the same thing. We had it in blocks.
How many men in a block?
Oh, it was different, like in Birkenau. Birkenau was a concentration camp, and this was a camp. It was Blechhammer, was connected to a private thing, and Krupp was paying for us.
How much did they?
And then on the machine was I was working the cutting steel. He was making 40, 50 mark a day.
Who got the money?
The government took off their citizens.
You
That's
never.
what I was working. The wages we received once a week. We received something, a few cigarettes, or a piece of bread, a bonus, a better meal. But the money went to the, I don't know who was it.
The German.
The Germans took the money. But Krupp was paying for us.
And what did you start when you started to work at Krupp? What kind of work did you do?
The first was I was a week. I didn't do nothing, only sitting and watching how the German was working by the machine.
They were
And
teaching
he
you.
explained it to me. Do it this, because a Bodenstück. You know what a Bodenstück?
A boring piece.
No, a board piece of steel.
I got it.
A piece of steel like this. And from this, my work was, you see, this is the top. I was doing number 12. I made it, started with 2, then raised it with 3. You have to put it on the machine with a parallelizer, you know, to check of sitting.
Parallel.
If it's not parallel,
Well, board right.
then you drill this is to you spoil a piece goes on a few thousand marks. You have to be careful with the steel cutters too.
How many weeks training did you have?
Oh, 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, the German left me, and I have an old German Meister, boss. He always say, Ehrlich, the Ehrlich seien Sie langsam, langsam. Don't do it too fast. Because if you make quick, then you cannot think. Don't worry, I'm checking you, and if you need something, let me know. One day I have a problem. Arrived, trained with concrete to the factory. When they're outside the factory, the train, here was the factory, and here was a special place for deliveries. And on the train was laying, on the wagon was laying concrete, was laying. There came a Polish couple and took away a whole thing. Potterkis, he was looking for Jewish people, because the anti-Semite was. And they chased us over there and to take the concrete and put it on trucks. And the German chief went through, he didn't see me, he didn't see the nation. He started to look around. He said, over there, what they want to give us the concrete. And he make a big alarm. And who done this order? Who done the thing? And they chased us right away back to the factory. And the couple took him away. What they done with him, we don't know. If I would take one big concrete, I would not hear more. We have in Israel, I know friends, and I have New York, I have friends. I have a friend, he was younger for me, 10 years. 10 years younger for me. And his father was a tailor, and he was working for the Gestapo, make uniforms. So he made some connection with Breslau. Look, I have a son over there. He came, he brought one a piece of bread, a piece of thing, to help him. He couldn't eat everything, so he shared with me. He didn't share, give it to me. I said. His name is Bob Bornstein, I think, yeah.
Did you have enough food to eat when you worked for Krupp?
I would say enough, but what they give you in a consultation was enough. The first 2 months, we received goulash every day, a good goulash. Then the other, under the Meister was a nice man. He was giving out for the German people the goulash, and with the containers. And after the containers thing, have to be washed. So he always was the main he took me and Bob, the young boy from took us to wash the cans. Why? Because he left always on the bottom a little bit. So we picked up and we eat it right away. What we cannot eat, we try to take into the machine, but this wasn't allowed.
What was in the can? Soup?
Goulash.
Goulash.
Not can, this was like milk can, big one.
Big can.
Containers, yeah. And we washed it. He took us why to wash because he wanted to help us.
Did you have the same job for the whole time at Krupp?
Yeah.
You went from
April the 23rd,
1944.
44 in Stammersried, in a small place, not far away from. They took us 3-4 days. They took us. They didn't know what to do with us. Where to look at them. They wanted us to get killed. So they took us to one place, to another place, to another place. Half that divided, and one place was Großrosen. I met Uncle my brother. I could see him one day, and he was dressed. He had cigarettes, he had chocolate, he had things. And he asked me, what he needed. He gave me a pair of leather shoes, he gave me. I said, what leather shoes? But Breslau too, but not everybody could get it. But if you have something, somebody, they give up a good leather shoes. He gave me some leather shoes, then a Polak. The next day he see me, he say, lay down, a Polak. And he took me away to the leather shoes.
And when was that? This was...
In Breslau.
This was...
In the barracks.
Okay, right after the war?
Yeah.
And the Polacks were still taking things from Jews?
I see him in Munich, and I want to make alarm and things like that. I don't scare them for you. I can get you beat up and I'm here between the Jews. So I went away. What can I do?
So you saw this Polish man later where, in Munich?
In Munich, yeah.
Uh-huh. And he took your shoes?
Yeah.
How many men survived in the Krupp factory? It was relatively easy to say.
I could say survive 60-70%.
Did the SS ever come into the factory?
Sure. One time we say the Meister told us, keep clean, sit over the machine because the boss is coming. Mr. Krupp coming to visit us. And he walked through looking how we work, and behind him was a whole big official thing. And then my second man said, we see, so I could see in his face, he had a cut. You see here, a big cut.
Scar.
So now he's coming, and nobody, he checked left and right, so somebody listened. You know what it is? They says he want the people to see that he was on front.
On the front during the war, World War I. He wanted to show you.
He wanted to show that he was fighting too.
Did he fight? You don't know.
How he fighted? Krupp, Krupp was one of the biggest politicians, a multi-millionaire.
What kind of punishment did you get at Krupp if you did something wrong?
Mostly by Krupp punishment, they hit you with a piece, a wooden thing from a chair, 10, 20, 30 over the head.
Over the head?
No, the back.
Over your back?
Yeah, and tuchas.
On your butt?
Yeah.
Did you ever get beaten?
By Kruppwerke? No. But one time I took in a bottle because over there was a canteen for the Germans, what they can buy beer, they can buy coffee, they can buy, but not us. So I bought, somebody gave me a few, but I was not smoking, I received cigarettes, so I changed. So he brought me a bottle beer, and I drank the bottle beer, and I gave a man, a Bendina, what he was working in the office. He brought me out a half a bread. You know what a half a bread was in camp? A half a bread I was working a whole week. I divided in...
But this was, when was this? Was this at Krupp or before Krupp?
Krupp, this was Krupp.
But you told me you had enough to eat at Krupp.
Yeah, enough. To keep alive, enough, not to die, to keep working.
A piece of bread was a luxury.
Yeah, a piece of bread was a sugar, a whole box cigarettes, and a container with, I don't know, was mixed fruits and all kind of thing. But it was in a nice container. You know what I done it? I made it empty, the container. It was a big metal in a color, a dark brown color like this. And I have over there a Russian thing. He was a specialist making monograms, you know?
Yes.
And I made it a monogram on this for my meister. And put it in this box. I put it in the cigarettes, my tobacco, everything, and give it to him this.
Why?
I give because he was treating me together to wash the cans and then to give some bread.
He was good to you.
Oh, very good.
And who was the Meister, the old German man?
The man was an old man, like maybe 75 years was an old man. And the other Meister was maybe 50, 55 years old.
Who did you give the gift to, the old man?
No, not the old man, I wouldn't.
The 55-year-old, he was nice to you, and he was a German.
He was, remember, he always, whenever changed, he put me on and take a piece of bread.
And he was a German or a Jew?
German. Oh, no, just a Meister.
Did you see him after the war?
No. I wish I could find him. Covered with 2x8, you know, the lumber covered.
Wood?
Yeah. And this, and I think, look, to my co-worker, look, I kenne ich mehr. So I opened up, laid around the canal, and cover up he covered me up with the thing.
The wood.
With the wood. But when the old Meister went through, he asked him where I am. He told him the truth. He couldn't stand more. He said, look, I am not responsible. If they call him, he gets shot. Because he don't know where this is the main cable will go over the whole factory. It was not one, it was maybe 8, 10 cables connecting the electricity. If the smallest touch, I burned up.
How long did you hide there?
A half hour.
A half hour?
Yeah. After I woke up, I went to the toilet and urinate and back to the machine. And I was working to make the quota, the machine, the parts, the quota.
Did you?
And I say, Leibis Sutani was his name. And he said, Wolf, bist absolutely versorgt. You walk around like you don't know what's going on with you. So I walk around in here, like I'm hungry. So I stay, red doch nicht, du steh, stay where you are here. And he was a painter, and he was working for the Germans. So he had bread and sugar, he was overloaded with he came out, he brought me out 2 Kaiser rolls. You know what a Kaiser roll? It was a flat pieces. 2 Kaiser rolls, I was eating 1 Kaiser roll a week because I made it parts. You take the parts separate and keep it here. And I had here made under the jacket a packet. I was eating 2 weeks to 2 Kaiser rolls. Saturday was only Sunday no work.
6 days a week
6.
you work.
Sunday, we cleaned the tables with glass, pieces of glass, and we keep it, wash, have something to wash, and talk around.
Where did you wash?
Was a special place for washing. Then I had again come, I was lucky. Let's say you start to walk 6:30. Start to walk to the work because it was an hour, less of an hour to walk. And here was wired, here wired, he was anything, and the SS was outside to the factory from the camp. So I would know because in the morning is always to wash. The thing is always problems. So I always walk, let's say 6:30 or 5. I went an hour early to wash myself slowly, and then go back to the work and get ready to walk to the factory. Between the time I was washing and I come back was a selection. They picked up from every block 30 people, 40 people to the crematorium.
But they needed people to work for Krupp. Why would they take people? Sick
They
people?
couldn't work. Sick
couldn't
people.
work anymore.
They lost weight. They lost things. They came. I took my attend this selection.
Okay, but usually,
why? Because I went an hour before, and I was in the bunny we call it, where we was washing and cleaning. And everybody said, Wolf, met toch schießen, met toch geen, wie wist er geween? Moet geklipt met Muslimen geklipt. And I was so lucky I came back, and the other thing went right away to the crematorium, to Gross Rosen crematorium.
and how did
Yeah, they had,
tanks?
in
You
the
made
center
tanks.
from the factory was standing a Russian tank. And we copied the Russian tank. From every, you know, the wheels from a tank is zinc. It's very light, but it's flammable. If this catch fire, it goes like gasoline. And there was a special section what was cutting for the wheels, the
zinc, the treads.
yeah, the threads. This you have to watch it because it was very expensive. Every point you have to put it away in a separate section. From a separate section what collected the spray from the, I think the name was Cyclone, I think.
Before Krupp, you worked.
I worked, this was still home, 42.
Where did you work before 40, before you went to
in
Krupp?
a company, was making, the company's name was Skopek, a German thing. And this was an hour away where we lived.
You lived
It was making,
You lived in Bendine then? or did
Bendine,
you-
still in Bendine.
Okay, you went every day 1 hour from Bendine to work?
Yeah,
Where did you go?
By streetcar. But he couldn't get the streetcar on the main street, have to go on the back street to, not hour, maybe 40, 45 minutes to reach to this place. We was making serving plates for the restaurants, ice boxes, electric ice boxes, the small one. Not 42, yeah, 42. I went to Lublin, then I come back home, and then I talk over with wife, and we decided everything would be quiet because in Bending you still could live in the place. But later we brought him home, the Gestapo called him. He said, Mr. Ehrlich, how you arrived back from Lublin to Bending? Lublin was the government, and here is the right. He showed the papers, the passport. Okay, go home. 2 months later, again, the second time they come, and there was already 2 Jewish was working for the Gestapo. There was maybe 20 people on a list to pick up these people to take to Auschwitz.
And those people, your mother and father were on the
And
list.
everyone was between the list.
So you went back to home one day from work and your parents were gone.
No, particularly this time when they picked him up to Katowice, I was home. My brother-in-law was the chief police for the Jewish chief police. He came and said, look, cannot help you, this is my parents. You know what the show told him? You see these people to the Jewish thing? That's the Jewish Gestapo. They can only do it what I can do nothing. The German police could do nothing. But the two would work for the Gestapo too. One was, I know the names. They said, look, we have if we don't bring the 20 people, we go to Auschwitz. My brother-in-law, was looking how to pay him up this kind of thing.
Pay off.
Because he took us, my parents to Auschwitz. One day they came out from Katowice, I think, and they sent him, Wechselmann, that was called
They
name.
sent him away
Send
too.
him away to Auschwitz. And the second one, the main one, he was had a girlfriend, a Jewish girlfriend he had over there. And the Jewish girlfriend had another boyfriend. And the Gestapo told him, look, don't interfere with this girl, because he said, I'm higher from you. You know what he done? He called him one time, and he took to a bar, he called him, and told him, look, go up upstairs, bring me down this bottle. Walking up down the light, he shot him. One. And the other one, he said, look, don't interfere, because, you know, this was Sostovich still. You see this, Tadek, it was his name. You see this monument? Go over there, I want to make a picture. He went to the one and shot it by the ring.
Okay, so
Same trouble was in Lublin, same problem. There was big shot, same thing. They was doing something wrong. So they look, you know, the main chief from the Gestapo. The end was they lost him.
they shot him too.
It was friends from our town. There was from Medin, very rich people. They came to Mr. Ehrlich, we needed help. If we don't help us, we all lost.
And at what year was this?
This was in
41, 42?
No, 42, yeah.
And what did you do?
I told the men, because we had 2 horses with a wagon, you know, not a wagon, you know, a person wagon.
A carriage.
A carrying wagon. And I could drive where I want with this, because I show that we work for
The papers, right? You could
for
get
the
her.
people. So I took out maybe 3, 4 landsmen from Benjamin, and they're still alive.
Where did you take them?
I take him to the factory, and from the factory we tried to, there was on our hand, they changed the uniform, put civilian clothes, and was traveling back to Benjamin.
Okay.
Taking somebody what has connection with
To
me,
smuggle you in the,
and go tell
smuggle them back.
Elvick, we here, look, because if he don't save us, we're going to cut him, and Cotton is dead.
So what was the plan? They found you, and what did you do?
I took him to the caravan, and then I told him, look,
How long
I
did
give
it
you
take?
clothes,
It's two,
I
how
give
many,
you clothes, I give you everything, and then you're on your own.
How many-
I'm not responsible.
how long did it take to get from Lublin back to Bendin by the horse and the carriage? How long did it take?
No, this is sometimes it take you in 2 days, and sometimes took you a few weeks.
How long did it take you with the 3 soldiers?
I didn't go with them together.
How
I
did you?
only took him out from the camp to the Garbanya. And after the Garbanya, I told him, look, I saved you, you're going to Cotton. But Cotton was dead.
What do you mean is Cotton? What's the
Cotton,
name?
the place where they chased the Polish and the Jewish soldiers.
What's the name of a city? Cotton?
Cotton. Now, also the city was a special name.
What is
It's
that?
a border between Germany and thing. Now, you remind me something. One day, the looking, usually in Lublin, the city, the Jewish organization was seeking out-of-towners. Why they should bother people what they live in Lublin. I was out-of-towner.
From
And
Bendin?
then they called, we had a telephone in the factory. They called me, look, Wolf, you on the list to go on the Russian-German border, and over there you work one digging, and after the digging, they shot you and they buried you in the ditches. So I start to work right away how to get it out. I bought again a bike, and I was running back and think, somebody get it? Yeah. So I saved 3 people, I saved a life.
So you were in Lublin when they approached you? They said, we need to get out of here, we need to get back to Bendin. And you did what?
No, I saved the life. I took him away from the camp where they was keeping the Polish soldiers.
And where was the camp?
In Lublin.
In Lublin.
Yeah.
And you took them to the leather factory, you gave them new clothes.
The Jewish organization said, look, we can help you, but you have to take him, you have to feed him, you have to do and everything. And then later, we're not responsibility. But the all kind of thing, every day was different rules. Today this route, tomorrow this route,
What, for traveling or for Jews? Or?
only for Jews. You can do this, you have to go over there, you have to go do this. But digging the thing, there was not the dig, it was not a special digging to kid how to make ditches, and the ditches they throw you in.
So the men, you gave them clothes, you took their uniforms, you gave them clothes,
Yeah,
what did you give
civilian
them?
clothes, and I told them, look, you're safe, you don't go to cutting. And then on the whole way go back to the building, to Bendy.
Did they make it back to Bendin?
They ride by trains, by cars, by the
All you gave them was clothes, you gave them food, any papers or anything?
no, papers I couldn't give them. But they
In the second time on board, I think one was on the Sarmat ship with it, and then Hakoah. In the Hakoah was maybe 2,000 people over there.
And how long did they have to stay in the soccer stadium before they were sent away?
It took a whole day. Selection, pick up.
Who did the
And if they
selection?
didn't fit- there was a special doctor, Dr. Mengele, they was calling him.
And you were selected from the soccer stadium to go to? Where did they send you first?
I was selected, then they sent, they all was supposed to go to Auschwitz or Birkenau. They were separate. They were still alive. And this was not alive. They left it and they put him to the crematorium. It was a special commando.
You use the term Musulman. What does the term Musulman mean?
Muslim I mean a man would look like a skeleton. You can see only bones and a little bit flesh.
You called yourself a
I
Musulman,
was
huh?
myself a Muslim too.
And when after the war you weighed how much? I think you told me.
When I was liberated, maybe I was 50 kilo. Wait, 50 kilo was 100 pounds. I was weighing maybe 40, 45 pounds, 45 kilo.
Cities did you see in Bendin?
They was catching people in the street, and particularly usually what they have still have a beard, you know, and they dress like them.
Hasidic Jews, Orthodox.
This kind of people, they look, clean the streets, clean the thing, and chasing, making jokes around. Like one, they caught one, there's a picture in Washington Museum. One, he put on the film, and with the towers, and around was standing all German laughing, and then
That picture was from Bendin?
in Bendin was the picture made.
What else did you see with your own eyes?
They hanged 3 Jewish people, they hanged on an old Jewish cemetery.
What crime did they commit? The
They
three
say there
Jews?
was they were doing business, they was doing the wrong business in India, it was not allowed. They hanged him.
Did they have a trial?
No trial.
No trial.
No trial.
Did they make all the citizens watch the hanging?
Yeah, they caught some people, instead of men and women standing in the back from the cemetery, was living a lady, was she still alive. And she was watching how they hang her husband.
He bought the gold.
Yeah.
And what did he do with the gold, the German boss?
He was hiding, who knows what he was doing.
And you told me that every Jewish business had to have a German boss or a German partner.
Yeah.
And who was his?
Not a partner. Let's say if we want to open up some factory when the Germans took over, we have to report them in detail. Look, okay, you can do, but we send you a man, and he will be. You have to listen to him.
And he was the Treuhänder.
He's a Troy. A Treuhänder is a Verwalter.
So you told me the story that this Treuhänder, he would buy gold pieces, and then what happened?
But when it was come close, the German find out looks close, that's the end, come the end. And he was scared that he will report.
He will
to
be
somebody,
reported.
and he be in trouble. So he took him took him a conversation.
His Jewish partner.
No, the German.
The German?
Called him and told him, look, the war's coming close. And if you want to still be alive, the main thing, run away from here. Because here, for sure, you get killed. And then, because every week I was, end of the week I was seeing him. So after one weekend, I say he didn't show up. So I started to check with his father, and his father asked me, maybe you know what's going on. Well, no, I don't know what's going on. the main thing, this was a setup. The German Verwalter made a setup. It brought him a SS uniform, and his wife with the kids have to make blonde hair. The Irish, they're not because the blonde people was not Jewish, seldom was blonde Jewish people. And he said, look, Dave, his name was Dave, I send you to Katowice. And in Katowice will stay over 2 friends, and the 2 friends will pick you up and they take you back to Lublin.
So he took
He was figuring out how to liquidate him.
how to liquidate his Jewish partner.
Not partner, he was working over there.
He was working for him.
Salesman.
So what was the plan? He bought him a SS uniform,
Yeah.
and he dyed his hair blonde, and his wife and his children, and he
And then
said,
with a car,
I will save you. And then what happened?
with a car, no, by train, they send him to Katowice, and in Katowice,
So his Jewish workman with his SS uniform and his wife and children went to Katowice, and what happened in
and
Katowice?
over there, supposedly, they told him, over there were waiting 2 my friends, and they take you in their car, and they send you to Lublin. You'll be again free.
And what
And
happened?
the end was, this 2 was waiting, was 2 Gestapo. They took him right away on the Gestapo thing and start to take out some questions thing, and they send him back to Belgium to the Jewish police. And the Jewish police, my brother-in-law was the chief police for the Jewish thing. And he called and said, look, your friend is here. He's now a candidate to go to Auschwitz. He and his wife and the kids.
And what happened?
This was the end.
They sent him to Auschwitz.
Yeah.
The Treuhänder betrayed him. He set him up.
He said, it was a setup.
The Jewish police didn't deliver to the Gestapo. What happened?
And they respond to it. Sometimes they send away they took Jewish police, they sent it to Auschwitz. There was one day arrived a truck to the Gemeinde, to the Jewish Gemeinde in Berlin, and they asked to get 50 mattresses, mattresses to sleep, to pick up at the rich people who had left the homes.
Who wanted? The German army?
Yeah, and between was 3-4 Jewish prisoners with the stripes, with the ring. We saw the first, but they were scared to talk, but they said, look, you see this what we're wearing? Over there, if you arrive over there in a day 2, you get killed. You get free to the chimney.
Did you ever have a plan to escape to Hungary or to Switzerland or some other country?
No, I didn't plan. But Primaya, he had different plan. He went to Hungarian.
How did he escape from Bendin and got to
I met once when we was chasing us, when they feel out the Germans are the Americans are coming, so they chasing from one cassette to another cassette. And one time I walked out and said, Wolf, your brother Meyer is here. And I walked through, I see Meyer dressed, puke, and I had a bag, a leather bag, I hang up and thing, and looked nice with a mustache and thing. Look, the whole Sinjarek, he took right about chocolate and put that thing, and gave me up for leather shoes he gave me.
How was he free? Did he have papers? Or
No,
did
he
they-
was something, a commando, what was the Gestapo, they needed people, but because they come to strange places to help them. He didn't help them, but he helped himself.
When did Meyer finally go to Hungary?
Oh, this was ended the war. Yaja, a German took it to the Germans.
Yaja was his future wife.
Yeah.
And Yaja was taken to a German? What happened?
The German helped her to go to Turkey, and Charlie was born. And Charlie was not born in Germany, not neither, but in
Istanbul.
Turkey. Turkey was away for Arbeitsthing, and we paid them to the boss for that. The factory paid him, give him a pianino, give him, and he brought him back because he told him that we needed this man, we needed to the factory. So we brought him back to Benji.
So you bribed someone?
What?
You bribed someone? You gave someone a piano to get
We bribed the boss from the factory, this was the factory what was working for uniforms for the army, German army.
So you
shoemaker and thing.
so you bribed the boss and they brought your brother Jakob
Yeah,
back.
they brought him back.
And when did you see Jakob when they brought him back?
When they brought him back, he came to Benji.
What year was that?
This was in 1941 or 42. Mostly I knew the people what was the resistance. I tell you, the resistance was people what we had a big company brought people to work from the close from the Russian border to Benjin, and they all was strong men, like everyone was a 6-footer and maybe 250 pounds strong people were working.
Jewish men?
And this between them, they start organized. Look, we start to fight against. A lot was killed right away. Then if they were caught somebody, they were killed. There was a lot of trouble.
What did the Jewish resistance do? Did they shoot Germans, or do you know what the Jewish resistance did?
Yeah, there was. They have a commander. What they told them you have to do, you have to do.
Who was the commander?
I haven't shown all commanders. Today was the Boyshut, was the Yankees, tomorrow everything.
Did they ever ask you to come to the Jewish resistance?
No, they didn't. Even if I wanted, don't take me.
Why?
They take the only strong thing you have to be.
Who survived from the resistance?
Oh, maybe 2, 3, or 4.
And in Bendin itself, what did the Jewish resistance do? Did they kill Germans, or did they blow up German?
Yeah, they were working. They're working, but what between a lot of Germans was working with them.
With the Jewish resistance?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they was against. They were communists.
They didn't want the Nazis.
Yeah. They made a look-to pedal. 2 hours.
Express train.
Express train.
And
One
during,
wagon.
and during the war, the express train ran also?
This I was not interested to. Even when it was, a Jew couldn't go with this train.
A Jew could not go on the express train.
We have streetcars. And streetcars, when I went to work, I can go with the streetcar, but not from the main street. I have to go for a street where Jewish people live, where the trains passed over there. So one time I was late, and I said, okay, I don't go down here, I go right. When I came out from the section, from the Jewish section to the Irish section, they caught me a police, a German police. He was a 6'5" foot. He gave me a flash over the face, so my head turned around.
He hit you.
And he said, you don't know. And he asked me, oh, I know this is not allowed to go for Jewish people with this train. You have to go back for the back street to go to work.
Did you have to carry papers?
Oh yeah.
What did the papers say?
That's I work for this company.
The papers also identify you as a Jew?
Sure, the Jude. And then I had here a band. And then they made a band, they made a Star David.
Were you able to get...
A lot of money better this way.
And what did he do with the ink? They made his own stamps.
It's the ink they needed to copy the food stamp. Because the food stamp went through to a big company. And the Jewish Gemeinde received it, they give it away to a family. You didn't get how much you want. How much they want to give it to you.
Did the Germans put up signs that Juden verboten? What kind of sign? Tell me about the signs.
Every section.
What did the sign say?
Juden verboten. A street, you don't allow, or you don't support to walk on the street. Juden strictly verboten.
And if they,
every day came out a new how you call it?
a law, rule?
A new rule.
Was there a special jail for the Jews in Bendin?
Yeah.
Where was the jail?
The jail was not far away from where our school was.
And who ran the jail? The Jewish police or the Germans?
No, German. Volksdeutsche mostly.
And who did they put in these jails?
This was for nothing they put in jail. I said, yes, when you walk the street, you see a German, you have to take off your cap, what he was wearing. You have to say, take it off.
Yeah.
If not, he call you and give you over the face, left or right over the face.
Did you have to say?
Yeah, there was all kinds of stories.
What did you hear?
From the underground we found out that in the night came the Americans of reverse, and during the day to bombard Germany came the English.
But they never bombed Auschwitz.
No.
Why?
Oh, that's the question. Not only the camp, but they started to destroy the roads where the train went into Auschwitz.
So you said during the day and during the night sometimes you could see American bombers and English bombers.
Yeah.
They flew over the
Yeah,
camp.
when something they came, we was the factory, we have to lay down on the belly, not to raise the head. Lay down.
Did they tell you these?
After the bombardment, we go back to work.
Did they tell you these were American bombers or British bombers?
Yeah, say Schweinehund come the bombers.
Did you ever wonder why they didn't bomb the railroad tracks?
Yeah, now the whole problem with us, why they didn't bomb the railroad?
Would it have been easy to bomb the tracks? The tracks were away from the people, from the prisoners. How hard would it have been to bomb the tracks?
That's what I just think. What we had to, in 2 days they take 100, 200 Jewish workers and make new railroad.
So they did bomb the tracks.
No,
They didn't bomb the
They didn't
tracks.
bomb.
Never bombed.
that's what a lot of questions as they go on. Why? I wrote a true story.
They said, no, the Germans didn't kill anybody. Disease killed everybody. What's the true story?
It's not true.
Tell me the
main
truth.
killing.
What did
the
you
main
see?
killing was what the shooting, the thing. And the sect was killing, the typhus and diarrhea and thing. I had once diarrhea. You know what I done? I give away my piece of bread, and they brought me a piece of wood, burn the ashes.
Charcoal.
Yeah, this I swallow, and this stopped the diarrhea.
I heard you didn't have any antiseptic. If you got a cut, you would put urine on it. Is that true?
What?
Mom said that in the cassette that they didn't have antiseptic. If you had a cut or something, you put urine on it to clean the cuts or the wounds.
Yeah, they say that they study that if you have a wound, they say it's good to urinate, and this will help the healing.
Did you see that done?
Myself, no.
Did you see it done, that people use
Yeah,
urine?
sure. They put into jail. Then when he came out from jail, he married a Polish girl, and the way he shows up, they was beat up, but he's still alive.
This was
No.
a capo?
A couple.
Tell me what he did, the capo.
He was, let's say, I can say, look, I needed to go to the latrine, I need to go pee-pee. So they lay down, and he urinated in his mouth.
And what was the name of this capo?
Avery Vignansky, Abram Vignansky. He have 2 sisters. What did they say? Look, we don't know, we don't want to live with them, we don't know, we don't have a brother.
Why was he so bad to the Jews?
He was a bandit. Before the war, they was making furniture. In the cellar, he had a ping pong table. Oh, I used to play over there ping pong. And he had a buffet. He was selling cookies and things. But when it came to Auschwitz, he was terrible. He said somebody, Bedina Abba Vignansky, said, oh, this was a bandit. When he showed up, they beat him, they shot him.
After the war.
After the war, he's still alive.
And what did he do anything to you?
He knew me, but I avoid to see him.
You avoided him as much as
I
possible.
avoid him.
And he gave you things. He gave you a watch, and tell me that story.
No, this was when we was the first day we was liberated. We was walking and looking, and then we was low thing, and there was a high place thing, and the Germans was looking like Versammte how he said it. They're looking out to put in the ground the uniforms and to get some civilian clothes. Then we see this on the hill stay a German, and one said, One to I said, look, a German's over here, and he have a rucksack, you know what I mean?
A backpack. Backpack.
And he didn't move, he was standing. And said, oh, let's go to him, let's get him. And he was, we came to him, we stopped, said, look, don't do because I have a lot of things what I want to give it to you, with everybody. They want to give a camera, want to give a thing, and me give me the Patek, the watch what I have. This is Patek Philippe. It was after the war, but before the war was Patek separate and Philippe was separate. So
and what happened to this
man? We
man?
took away from him everything, and we let them go.
Nothing was left.
When I came home, I see what's going on, because you couldn't get into from the right, the section where Lublin was government, and Benjin was Bensburg, was German. You couldn't go in from the, if you have a pass from the Gestapo, then you go in. That's the reason my parents was killed. I brought it back. I had somebody who took him to Benjin, and one day from the Jewish Gemeinde came, das Ehrlich, Ehrlich have to show up to Katowice. The question was how they came from the government to the Reich, to Benjamin. So my father was speaking fluent German, and he took out his passport. He's born in Poland, and he's coming back. Now, go home. 3 months later, they call him again. But the third time, they put him in a jail. It was only for people like this, what this came from the government to come into Germany. Benjin was Bensburg, not Benjin.
The Germans renamed it.
And by the third time came two Jewish couples and two German police. And I had a list to say, and they picked up my parents and no other, maybe 10 or 15 people, and they sent it to Katowice. And from Katowice to Auschwitz. When I arrived, so they asked, look, this day, arrived from Benjamin, oh, Wolf, don't ask. The whole train went straight to the crematorium. No selection, no nothing. The worst experience is arriving to Auschwitz. This was really, Birkenau was separate, and Auschwitz was the main, with the Birkenau don't have the crematoriums. Birkenau mostly had the buildings where we used to stay. In Auschwitz was this really factory. There were a few crematoriums, not one.
So your worst experience was your arrival at Birkenau, which is part of Auschwitz.
Yeah, because we know where we're going, what we have what happened to us.
By 1942, when they took you away, you knew already what Auschwitz was about.
Yeah, we know it.
And when you went to Auschwitz and you were in Birkenau, could you see from Birkenau, could you see the crematoria in Auschwitz?
Oh yeah.
What could you see? Tell me what you saw.
Chimneys you could see. You know, the chimneys was a white thing was coming out.
Smoke.
It was smoke. They was working night and day, the crematorium.
What kind of smells were there?
Bad smell.
Did you see people also?
No, they showed us if you do something like this, then you go out to this chimney. You see that something wrong against the law.
Police chief?
He was a police chief.
What were the charges against him?
That's he's cooperated with the German army.
And who brought the
Then
charges?
The Jewish people, and they put it to jail in Bendin.
There was a trial?
Was a trial in Israel, had a trial. And trial, they put it to jail in Israel. Then they made against it.
An appeal?
Appeal.
And what happened?
There came people would say he helped a lot of people, and they let him go.
They let him go.
He's still alive now.
What's his name?
Henrik Barnblatt.
And he was the chief of police of the Jewish police, in Bendin.
Yeah.
And was he allowed?
10 years young kids, they took 12 years young kids, all ages. And they castrated them. And we had mom's friends. There was, because we told the castrated commando. And then they had, if somebody had say to come to check how they treat us, they had a special hospital. It was, if somebody before, if they seen he go die, they took him over there, and then come correspondent, they made pictures show with the Red Cross wagon, how they're helping. After they left, the whole commando was finished with needles in the crematorium.
You say they were finished with needles. What do you mean?
Injections
Of what?
to kill.
Gasoline or poison or what?
Who knows? They put the injection in an hour, they were dead.
So the
They made
Germans.
all kind of experiments they made with by the presidents.
So the Germans fooled the International Red Cross or the international people that came in. They saw Red Cross, but the Red Cross wasn't. They were killing people.
Was only for show.
Only.
If you saved, then he was thinking how about to sell somebody else. But nobody was sure what the next hour will bring. Today you're here, and tomorrow you go to work, you don't come back home. We were walking from the barracks to Kruppwerk, he was walking maybe half an hour. And barbed wire left and right, and the SS what watched us, it was not inside, it was outside the wires. They was watching somebody fall down, a wagon picked him up, put in the rivier, a needle, and sent him on vacation.
They didn't shoot him. They didn't want to waste the bullet. They would give you an injection, poison.
You know, when they were shooting, when the end start come to end, they start evacuate us. When somebody cannot walk, shot him.
When did you decide to come to America? After the war.
No,
When did you decide?
We was decided for, and even before Mom arrived from the English zone, I arrived, I would not stay. Because every treat and everything reminds what was done to our parents and everything.
So why
Then
did
I
you?
registered. First of all, I married in the Sahana. I registered, and any day they can call us if we go to America.
Did you have a choice? Could you go to America or Israel or to someplace else? And why did you pick
80% went to Israel.
And why did you pick America?
It's a good question. It's a good question too. Now I come to my mind. I had a friend, American captain, and he always was a rough guy, but he was very friendly to us. Came to, we made him Jewish cooks and everything. And they say, look, come to America. This German is not for you. Poland is not for you. Not other country. Come to America, and if you have a little muzzle and you want to work, you be somebody.
Did you ever think about going to Israel?
Yeah, we were talking, sure.
And what kind of discussion did you have? There was no Israel. The state of Israel was
No, there
created in
was Palestine
47, Palestine.
yeah.
What was the discussion?
But 50-60% from the cassette people, they went to Israel. And there was fight, and they arrived today, and tomorrow they sent them to fight, and the 80% was killed. 80%.
I understand we had an uncle and he was executed by the Jordanians. They beheaded him, is that correct?
Yeah.
And who was that?
An uncle from the mom's uncle, not from his father's side, not from mother's side.
So
from father's side, when if you want still a son, Goodman, his mother lives in Israel now. I'm in contact with her.
And who else, which other relatives of ours went to Israel?
And my brother-in-law was living, he was in jail in Israel, then they let him loose. He married a girl, and he was living in Tel Aviv.
The same brother-in-law was the
Yeah.
police chief.
Yeah.
Now he's a musician in Israel.
He was dirigent, how you say dirigent, he was putting not a band, a
Philharmonic?
philharmonic orchestra.
Tell me why.
They couldn't, because after the war was not all kind of trouble with, you know, a day to live through Auschwitz, what kind of commotion. they use in the war to get the little water soup and the small piece of bread.
So when you see the movie, let's say, Shoah, or the movie, the Holocaust movie, what do you think when you see these movies?
It's like a sample, that's all.
A sample, not close, but not even close.
Not even close. Sometimes, you know, lately I have nightmares. I think like I go through, I talk as the people alive and think, and I wake up, so where are you? Where are you? I'm the wrong place.
Often?
Not only the war. It used to be a time I had only the war, but lately I have something private life. Like I talk with this man, like I see him, we're sitting and talking, and I think. The whole my life I lived through with this and me. Lucky.
How many of your friends are still around that were survivors? How many men? How many women? How many families?
For my survivors, I can figure some 50, 60 people.
I understand there's a society, the Medina Sosnovitsa Society. What is the society?
We are members. Once a year we get together at the cemetery, and people telling their stories, and like say David Bunder's father, there's mother over there.
Where is the
Woodbridge, not far from here, Harold.
And this is a special
Oh,
cemetery?
this is a cemetery. Over there, if you go in, you can drive around with the car 2 hours, you don't know where to get out. There were sections. This section is for the Medina, this section is for this and this. So once a year we get together. And here we get Yom HaShoah.
And how many are left?
Mom was, last year was put a candle, she had a speech, everything.
And how many people attend the Medina Sosnovitsa Society? I understand you have a ball every year also?
Every year we get together a ball. And the money we send to Israel.
And how many people are left, you said? In the Medina Sosnovitsa Society, how many members are today?
Oh, they have a few hundred members. There was maybe 1,000 members, but every year less.
I understand in Israel you also put up a monument, is that correct? Yeah. What is the monument in Israel?
This was not only for the Medina. In Israel, Modein they call this. The Medina have a monument, the Sosnovs have a monument, the Kharkiv have a monument. Every city from Poland they have their own monument. And when they get together, so every go stay with the friends from the old city. There was a time me and Uncle Meyer and me, Mom, we didn't miss one.
What do you think about the Washington Museum? Did they do a good job?
Oh yeah, perfect job.
I understand.
We was several times over there. It was showing a film. Was over there sent this. You was this or who was this? Your picture was this? No, this was Harold thing. They was showing survivors with a grandchild. Came out beautiful.
I understand when you were visiting, someone saw the number on your arm, and what did you tell them?
Oh, this was by the hotel over here. It was very hot, and I had a short thing in the
short sleeve shirt.
The number, and then when I walked, so one man came to me to look, show me how this look. I like to see. I never see a head on it, and I showed him. He said, "Oh my God!" And he was a supervisor for a Hebrew school. They have children though 6, 8, 10 years old, and Hasidic, you know, and with the chiches and everything. And then between that, I went in the laboratory to urinate. When I came out, stay maybe 8, 10 boys, show Yiddish, warme Hand. Was the Deutsch getitzt? Yeah. How you can feel. Sometimes I'm very sensitive. If I see somebody cry, I cry too. Very sensitive. But something I ask myself the question, how I survived this kind of thing so a long time, and I'm still here. If you take, say like this, if you think like this, you lost already. Think that tomorrow will be better. I told you with the friends when they had a few hours Sunday free, they said the Muslims, they like to always to keep us with me. They wolf of me, they call me the Chuchem, and they call me the Weichuchem. A Chuchem is a regular smart. A Weichuchem means always smart Chuchem. I say, look, if you give up the future, you never passed. The tomorrow will come. And when the tomorrow came, we met at the cemetery, the Weichuchem came and do so.
And when you say es wird gut sein, what does that mean? It's Yiddish. What does that statement mean?
That kids would be, tomorrow will be better, it will be good. One always give it courage to my friends. Live it because tomorrow. Sometimes when they see me, it comes, we have to kiss you rewards, every word what he told us at the camp. I like to finish thing with to tell you, all my friends, that's I like if you see these people, what I do over the home. The name is Arthur Schwine, David Potok, and Herr Feldman. Please give him regard. Tell the Wolf Ehrlich is in America, is happy, and we stay. I hope we see you pretty soon.